That's the Narcan.
Well, that was back in July of 2017. It marked the first time Spokane police officers used Narcan to save someone from overdosing on opioids. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jane McCarthy.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Mark Hanrahan. Since then, SPD has issued the life-saving drug to every patrol officer, so we wanted to know how that program is going. And as I found out, the opioid epidemic and the effort to save lives is showing no signs of slowing.
43, start medics for unconscious male. We're helping. What did he take, heroin?
It's a jarring scene. As soon as Spokane police arrive, they find a frantic woman holding an unresponsive man in a parking lot in North Spokane.
Hey, you got Narcan? Please help. Grab it.
It's clear to the officer what's going on.
Here, watch out, man. He overdosed on heroin.
He checks the man's pulse and he tries to wake him up.
Hey, bud. Hey. Hey.
But when none of that seems to work, the officer grabs his Narcan.
We're getting pretty good at this, unfortunately. Keep snoring, bud. Keep snoring. Might get pissed off here. Will you tell him we just dosed him?
Does it work pretty well?
So far, yes. Within a few minutes, you'll start to see signs.
Sergeant Jay Kernkamp oversees and tracks the Narcan the department uses. As the opioid epidemic worsens, SPD decided to broaden the use of the life-saving drug. 2 years ago, they gave kits like this one to all their patrol officers.
So every officer is issued a pack just like this.
The drug itself is naloxone. Narcan is the brand name.
We kind of break it down into 3 steps.
And it's designed to be given through the nose to reverse the effects of an overdose.
And then we'll give half into each nostril.
Wow, that's quite a bit.
Yeah.
He won't let his hand hit his face.
This is body camera footage of SPD's first save with the drug. It happened back in July of 2017. Since then, Kernkamp says they've used Narcan time and time again, saving lives in the process.
So far to date within the city, our officers have saved 9 people.
Wow, with the Narcan.
It's not about, cops saving drug addicts. It's about these people have families. These people are children of people. They have jobs. Unfortunately, they just have an addiction problem.
There you go, see.
Back at the scene in North Spokane, the man who was overdosing shows signs of improvement. His pulse gets stronger and his breathing starts to regulate. Officers roll him onto his side to make sure his airway remains clear. And a few minutes later, firefighters arrive on scene.
So, looks like heroin overdose, pinpoint pupils, barely breathing when we found him. Gave him 1 dose of Narcan. He's breathing a lot better. Good radial pulse here.
They sit the man up and he starts to regain consciousness.
Oh, we gotta take him to the hospital, man. You know who this is? Too much heroin. Not yet.
You can hear firefighters explain to him just how dire his situation was.
Well, you were just dead on the ground right here, so.
Did you think when you signed up to become a police officer you'd be using Narcan to reverse the effects of an opioid overdose of someone?
No, that was probably the last thing that I ever expected.
But with scenes like this playing out across the city, Kernkamp now says he can't imagine working without it.
I don't see it going away. We have more and more officers that are wanting it.
And deputies with the Spokane County Sheriff's Office also began carrying Narcan about 2 years ago, and so far they've had at least 3 saves, they say. And this is interesting. Sergeant Kernkamp with SPD says many of their officers carry Narcan not just to save other people, but to administer to themselves as the powerful opioids like fentanyl and carfentanil are popping up in communities across the country. So if they're exposed to those drugs, they want to be able to save themselves.
So this is something new in their war chest. How are they paying for it?
Yeah, it's a partnership with the Spokane Regional Health District. That organization says they got the Narcan through a grant, so it's not costing the police department any money.
Well, it's working.
Yeah, interesting stuff.
Wow, Mark, good story. Thank you very much. In other news today, Washington Governor Jay Inslee signed a bill into law allowing children to use liquid medical marijuana at school. But only their parents can give them the medical marijuana. The law is named after River Ducky Barclay. She is a Western Washington young woman with a neurodegenerative disease. She uses the marijuana concentrate, CBD oil, to reduce her seizures. Now that is her dad next to the governor there. The new law allows minors to register as medical marijuana users and then take only liquid medical marijuana at school.
All right, to weather now. Our days just keep getting longer. And for the first time this year, the sun is setting after 8 o'clock at night.
Ooh, a lot of people like to hear that. We'll send things over to Tom Sherry in the Weather Center now. Tom.
8:01, that is the official sunset time tonight. Of course, we get that civil twilight period after the sun actually dips below the horizon, and it still stays daylight for another 15 to 20 minutes, so I'd love to see that. Right now we're at 56 degrees, getting some pretty angry clouds that are kind of growing out towards Lake Coeur d'Alene, and we've had a few showers to the north of us. I think we'll see a few more showers tomorrow afternoon north of Spokane. Right now I still think it'll be dry in Spokane and to the south of Spokane. 61 the high on Wednesday. A chilly night tonight, down to 34 degrees. We turn the corner on Friday. That's when we start to warm up, and we continue to warm through the Bloomsday weekend with high temperatures near 70. Right now, I've got mostly sunny skies for both Saturday and Sunday. I'll check your 10-day forecast coming right up.
We went to our representatives, and they really came through as champions for us.
The Excelsior Wellness Center serves hundreds of vulnerable youth and their families every year. Now they're getting some much needed help from the state in their mission to provide behavioral health services to the Spokane community. State lawmakers approved more than $690,000 for Excelsior to upgrade its facilities.
KREM 2's Alexa Block found out how important this money is to the nonprofit and the people that they serve.
This is where the Excelsior Wellness Center youth play. They get away from the trauma, stress, and pressures outside its doors. But this old gym has seen better days by the looks of the rundown rubber floors and leaky roof.
Can't play in this particular area because there's a leak in the roof.
Excelsior Chief Development Officer Katara Johnson and her team invited state lawmakers to tour the facilities in hopes of landing some funding to make improvements.
They realized that we were impacting quite a few people in our community and that the kids needed a better space to play and to exercise.
State lawmakers granted the nonprofit $693,000. It was unbelievable news.
I fell to my knees first, and I was just like, thank you, God, because I know how this is going to impact kids for generations to come.
The money will be used to replace the gym's floor and roof, build a workshop to expand their vocational programs, and add a sport court to the Integrated Care Center, which is currently under construction. Excelsior is mostly known for providing behavioral health and education programs to youth and families, but they've recently began to expand their services.
So we just really want to make sure that we're meeting the needs and providing the best services that we can offer to our community members.
Johnson says they plan to open the remodeled facilities to the public and, of course, continue to serve those who need them most.
I'm really happy that our state is saying, yes, we will support our community's most vulnerable and we will provide adequate services to them.
In North Spokane, Alexa Block, KREM 2 News.
And Excelsior will need equipment for their new gym. They are accepting donations like basketballs, volleyballs, hoops, wrestling mats, and other gym equipment. If you would like to help, you can contact Excelsior.